The officers thought it was just another routine arrest. A suspect who fit the description, nothing more. But when that same man walked into court the next day, not in handcuffs but in a suit, they realized they'd made the worst mistake of their careers. It started a little after 9 in the morning. Dispatch came through with a call. Black male, mid-30s, navy jacket, suspected in a vehicle break-in on Madison Avenue. Officers Brent Hellcroft and Lynn Mercer were already patrolling that area, sipping their morning coffee, barely listening to the radio chatter. Then Brent spotted someone outside Grange Bakehouse, one of the busiest cafes in downtown Boise. "There he is," Brent muttered. The man looked calm, scrolling his phone with a pastry bag in one hand. He fit the description just enough to make them feel confident. That was all they needed. No lights, no sirens. Brent parked fast, and Lynn was already out before the tires stopped rolling, hands where I can see them. She shouted. The man, Kenton Morrow, looked up, startled but composed. "Excuse me?" he asked. "You fit the description of a suspect," Lynn barked. Brent closed in, hand resting near his holster. "I'm standing outside a bakery waiting for my driver," Kenton said evenly. Lynn smirked. "We'll clear it up at the station." Before Kenton could reply, Brent grabbed his arm, spun him around. "You're resisting now," he said loudly, enough for the crowd to hear. Phones came out. Bystanders started recording. Kenton didn't fight. He just lowered his head as they cuffed him. "Funny how they always get quiet when the cuffs go on," Lynn muttered. "Probably another guy with a fake LinkedIn," Brent chuckled. They didn't read him his rights. They didn't check his ID. They didn't even look at the receipt sticking out of his bag. They just shoved him into the back seat and drove off, laughing about the paperwork. Inside the car, Kenton stared straight ahead. Brent looked back through the mirror. "Got anything to say?" "I want my phone call," Kenton said quietly. "You'll get it after booking," Brent snapped. But something in Kenton's calm tone unnerved him. At the precinct, the desk officer, Rob Tesh, blinked twice when he saw who they brought in. You sure about this one?" Brent waved him off. "Fits the call." He was loitering. "He was standing outside a bakery with a pastry bag," Kenton said. Lynn stepped forward. "You doubting a field call, Tesh?" Rob hesitated, then entered Kenton's info and froze. "This address," he murmured. "I'd like my call now," Kenton interrupted. Brent scoffed. "Who you calling your lawyer?" "No," Kenton said. "The Attorney General's office?" Brent laughed. "Yeah, tell them we said hi." They walked away, still joking. But Tesh wasn't laughing anymore. He was staring at his screen, and that's when everything started to shift. In the holding cell, Kenton sat still. Not nervous. Not angry. Just patient. Down the hall, Brent and Lynn chatted like it was another Tuesday. Neither noticed the man from Internal Affairs walking past the front desk. Neither saw Tesh step into a back office to make a call on a secure line. When Kenton finally got his phone call, he didn't scroll for a number. He dialed one from memory. "This is Morrow," he said. "Boise PD, Madison Avenue incident. I'll need everything by this afternoon." He hung up. No anger, no threats. Just finality. Hours later, the precinct chief received an email marked urgent. From the State Department of Civil Oversight, request for immediate release, detainee Kenton L. Morrow, attached, federal credentials, audit orders, and an Article 14 integrity notice. Within 45 minutes, Kenton was out. When Brent saw him again, Kenton wasn't in cuffs. He was walking past them with 2 state officials in suits. Brent blinked. "That's not possible." Lynn frowned. "What the hell is going on?" Kenton didn't look back. He didn't need to. That night, Brent ranted at dinner about favoritism. Lynn told her girlfriend it was probably some city home mix-up. But rumors started spreading inside the department. Someone mentioned Kenton's name in briefing, and two sergeants exchanged looks. Even the captain seemed shaken, Brent's gut twisted. If command was nervous, it meant this was serious. Lynn tried to brush it off. We followed protocol, but even she didn't sound convinced. Days later, the captain summoned them. Full uniform, formal meeting. Two strangers sat in the office, suits, folders, official faces. Officers Halcroft Mercer, the captain began. This is Mr. Granger and Mrs. Sy from Civil Accountability. Lynn frowned. We've already cleared the arrest. Granger replied, the review goes beyond that arrest. Their stomachs dropped. Old reports. Stop data. Complaint files. Every little thing they thought was buried was being unearthed. That night, they got the email. Case review summary, prepared by Special Counsel K. Morrow. Attached, years of traffic stops, body cam timestamps, civilian statements. Brent opened one. A stop from 3 years ago. A man named Julian York, broken taillight, detained for 45 minutes. No charges. No footage. He remembered it, barely, but enough to know it looked bad. Lynn messaged him, they're going to make it look like a pattern. Brent typed back, it is a pattern. 2 weeks later, they sat in a gray conference room for their hearing. No uniforms this time. Just tension. Across from them sat Kenton Morrow, calm, precise, unreadable. Mrs. Sy opened the session. This review concerns repeated misuse of discretionary authority. Then she turned to Kenton. You have the floor. This isn't about accusation, he began. It's about patterns. He laid out 3 cases, Julian York, Alan Rivers, and another unnamed man. Each story mirrored the other. Vague descriptions, rough detentions, no charges. You control how you treat people, Kenton said. You control whether you check IDs before you cuff them. He placed a map on the table, red pens marking their stops. Clusters on the same streets, the same neighborhoods. You average 42% more stops than any other team, Kenton said. 80% involve one demographic. 90% end with no charges. Lynn stiffened. So we're on trial for doing our jobs? You're not on trial, Kenton replied. You're being reviewed. Because you stopped the wrong person this time, me? He paused. I wasn't special that day. I didn't have a badge. I was just a man outside a bakery. And you decided that was enough. Brent swallowed hard. We had dispatch. We didn't target you. You didn't have to, Kenton said. You've built a system that targets automatically. The room went silent. For the next 2 days, witness after witness testified, calm voices telling painful stories. Julian York described being slammed against his car for asking for a supervisor. Alan Rivers spoke about being thrown to the ground in front of his daughter. No theatrics, just truth. Each story chipped away at Brent and Lynn's defenses. At one point, Lynn snapped, You don't know what it's like out there. People lie. They run. Kenton nodded. I know it's hard. But when the same faces pay for other people's mistakes, it's not danger anymore. It's comfort. Then came the bombshell. 3 reports with altered body cam data. One file labeled corrupted, another never uploaded. Brent muttered, That's a tech issue. Kenton replied, Once is a glitch. 4 times is a pattern. Silence filled the room. A board member asked softly, Do you acknowledge your actions caused harm? Lynn whispered, We did what we were taught. Kenton's reply was quiet. Then maybe it's time we start teaching something else. The final day came without fireworks. Kenton stood before the board, calm as ever. I don't think you joined this job with bad intentions, he said. But somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing people and started seeing profiles. He recommended their removal from field duty, full retraining, and reopening of all flagged cases. Brent didn't argue. Lynn barely breathed. 35 minutes later, the verdict was in: suspension, badge revoked, pending review. No one cheered. No one booed. Just silence. As Kenton walked out, he paused near Brent. "I didn't think it would end like this," Brent said quietly. "It didn't have to," Kenton replied. "That wasn't up to me." That night, Brent cleaned out his locker alone. Lynn never came back. The department moved on, but not untouched. A new poster went up: Civil Accountability Hotline Confidential. Rookies glanced at it longer than they used to. Kenton left the city soon after. Another case, another precinct. That was his job. Not headlines, not revenge, just quiet repair. And slowly, things began to change. The Boise training manual was rewritten. Officers now had to review real body cam cases, including theirs. Recruits were asked one new question: have you ever made a mistake and learned from it? Brent took a desk job at Vehicle Impound, quiet and unarmed. He didn't talk about the hearing. Lynn moved back to Wyoming. Neither of them tried to deny what happened. Not out loud, and the people they once cuffed for no reason. Some got apologies. Not all, but enough to mean something. No press, no fanfare. Just quiet accountability, because justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks like a man in a navy jacket who didn't fight back, but fought smarter. Kenton Morrow didn't raise his voice. He held up a mirror and made them look. And maybe somewhere a young officer will remember his name the next time they hear a vague description. Maybe they'll pause. Maybe they'll think. And maybe that small moment will save someone's life, because change doesn't start with noise. It starts with accountability. And now, someone's finally watching the watchers.